Thank you, Wilma, for that prayer. Thanks to the organizers for setting this up and for all the planning and for everyone to be here this evening. And listening to the prayer that Wilma said, remembering our sisters, our daughters, our nieces, and remembering who they are. And it kind of ties into what we do today. I remember back in elementary school, making sure you had enough Valentine's Day cards for everybody in the class, and then having a few extra for family, for friends. And looking back, how many other times of the year, of those other 364 days, did we tell other people that we loved them, that they mattered? So I think that Valentine's Day is a really nice way of doing that, easing the little ones into that, to tell other people that they spend the majority of their time with their classmates. They spend that whole year with them, 200 days, and to let them know that they matter. And coming from an Aboriginal heritage, English is still a second language. And when we use that word love, I think about all the songs, all the movies, everything we see, like that's a really amazing word, love. But where exactly does it fit? Because I hear people tell others that they love them. I've also heard somebody, oh, I love your boots. Oh, I love that sale. Oh, I love this restaurant. I love this book. So where is your loved one? In between the book and the sale and the boots and the burger and everything else. Because you use the same word for all of that. In Blackfoot, we have a couple of words we use. One, I think of my great aunt and uncle, who were married for 60 years. And you have to love someone to be with them for 60 years. And how do they love each other? Our word is kitsakakum, which literal translation, I know you. It's like, well, I know you, I love you, like, well, but to know someone, their doubts, their fears, their hopes, their aspirations, to have somebody else know all of that and accept you and cherish you, that's love. The other word that we use for love is, we've all encountered it at least once in our life, and hopefully another time. The first time you're brought home, when you're newborn. The first time you bring home a newborn child, and all the hopes and aspirations and dreams you have for them. The totality of who they could be, what they could bring into this life. That whole acceptance just enveloped them with love. And that's given a big good saying. And at the end of the road, when somebody passes away, and we line to see their coffin in the traditions that I come from, and saying that last goodbye, touching their hand, or kissing them on the forehead or on the cheek, as your relationship is. And not going back to he said, she said, and whatever, and petty arguments, something from 10, 15 years ago. But at that moment in time, accepting them for the totality of their being and loving them. And from those two words, translating it back into English, I know myself, I have to work on those on a daily basis. Instead of just cherishing someone when they're born and then when they pass away, what about the rest of those days? Some of the people we're here to remember died horribly. Some, we're still waiting for them to walk in that door. And when you look in the newspaper, it has those two dates, the birthday, the death date. What about the rest of their life? How many other days were they alive? How many other days did we joke with them? Did we laugh with them? Did we tease them? Did they get us mad and frustrated and push our buttons? But we'd erase all that. We'd forgive all that if they walked in that door. So we look at what we have. We look at who we are. And it stands to cherish those that are in our lives today for who they are. To believe in them. You ever have somebody believe in you? Ask you for something and honestly believe that you'll do it? when my dad remarried, and I have another brother and sister. And my little sister, I'd get her birthday cakes. She's 4, turning 5. Okay, what kind of birthday cake do you want this year? Snow White and 7 Dwarfs. Okay. And there's 7 of them. Yeah, okay. I know. I got her the videos, I watched them with her, I taught her the names, I taught her toolkit. She knows there's 7, she knows them, and she knows how they look. Wouldn't you know they didn't have a Snow White and 7 Dwarfs cake? They didn't sell in Alberta. Wouldn't you know the toy stores didn't have the set that would fit on a cake? But she asked me for it. I didn't promise, I just said okay. And for her that was good enough to believe it. And so as her birthday was approaching, I went to the bakery and I asked them, I'm going to have a Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs cake. We don't have Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I know you don't have that cake. I'm going to bring them in, but can you make the cake? Well, bring them in. I don't have them yet, but can you make the cake and then I'll bring them in? Well, it's easy if you bring them in. Yeah, it's easier if I have them. Okay. I said, well, can you, or should I go down the block? Okay, so what do you want? I want a cake and I want a hill. A hill? Well, they're miners. Who's a miner? The 7 Dwarfs, they're mine. Very much familiar. Okay. So you can get this down. Do you want railroad tracks? Okay, yeah. So right now they're adding more. And it's like, well, make sure there's room for Snow White and 7 Dwarfs. Okay. So I ordered the cake. And I found Snow White and Dopey. I found Snow White and 3 of the dwarfs. And some people were telling me, well, why don't you get Snow White and those 3, 2 of those, and then Snow White and Dopey. I was like, we're going to have like 3 Dopies and 2 Valentines. She's 4, but she knows really well. This is my sister. She asked for it, I'm going to get it. Wouldn't you know, on the day of her birthday, I actually stopped someplace and found Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs that would fit on the cake that I ordered. And further down, there was these mining toys, and I found a little heart. So I was like, okay, so now I'm accessorized. Now, how much money do you have on that cake? So I go to the cake, pick it up, and the people say, so here's your Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs cake. I said, I have them. You found them? Where did you get them? They writing it down. I said, you looked for them. You didn't help me. You got the cake, but it's going to cost you if you want to know where to get them. I was stern. I stood by my ground. Got the cake, brought it to the house, and set it up so Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs and the little cart, closed it partly, and then my stepmom, she was just smiling. I said, you got it? Yeah, yeah. And then so she calls my sister. Hey Jane, look. Lifts that lid up. And then she looked, turns back, and beside her dad, he took a picture. And that picture just glowed. And my dad said, that's what she asked you. She asks, Mom, she's going to look. There's nothing out there. She's going to get frustrated. She's going to get something else. She asks Dad, who knows what he's going to get. Not going to remember what she asked. He'll get a cake or a cupcake or something. But she asked you because you would get what she wanted. And that power of having somebody believe in you is amazing. You can do amazing things when people believe in you, accept you, and trust you, and love you without question. You're the huge ones. We found her a week later. And we go through things, decisions. And one of the hard decisions is someone you love would take their own life. But the harder decision is to accept that someone would do that to another person is still out there. Which decision allows you to sleep at night? And it's a personal choice. But the easier thing is to go back to those hundreds and hundreds of days when she was here and laughing and joking and teasing and making a difference. And that's what today is part of today is doing that difference. Celebrating their life